Okay, so recording this one on the phone. Not sure how much longer we're gonna have internet. They might cancel it on us. Okay, do you remember during our baby moon, we lost our debit card, so we had to get a new one?
Indeed.
And so all of our auto pay stuff is coming back because we can switch. And I can't figure out the internet, so this is like, well, it's me trying to make sure that I still get a vlog out because I might not have internet. It might cut out in the middle of the night. Who knows? That's not even what this vlog is about, so I apologize. But it's part of my life, so I'm telling it to you.
Might as well.
Okay, so we've been on a bit of a tear here about talking about future child rearing. Again, I don't really like that term. Child rearing, right?
You're very tired, Garrett. And Lincoln's popping about.
Child rearing strategies and things that were like, we've talked about discipline philosophy. We talked about breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
Today's video, we're going to be talking about our opinions on extracurricular activities.
Indeed.
We've got a long while before we have to deal with that. But
Still,
we're going to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, because you see younger and younger kids getting involved in more and more
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Okay, so first of all, let's paint a picture here. We're gonna real quick just kind of explain each of us our standpoints and why we have them. So I'll go first. So growing up, I was involved in things. I was in karate for a little bit. I was in soccer for a little bit. This is all like when I was in like first grade, second grade, third grade. I did a little bit of basketball, and then in high school I kind of specialized into just football. And I really, in retrospect, looking back on it, I really wish I would have done more. Like, I wish, not younger, but older, I wish I would have explored more things. I'm wearing my Cubs shirt. I really wish I would have played baseball. Going back, yeah, that's one of the things. I was in the play twice, the High School Musical twice. I wish I would have done it all 4 years. You know, like, I have some regrets about not doing enough. And, you know, not exploring that and not taking all those opportunities. So that's where I come from. That standpoint. But see, my childhood, because I wasn't involved in so much stuff, I was in, you know, I would do soccer in the fall, and then nothing really, and then 1 year I did basketball in the winter. I had a lot of free time, and I had time to play outside. I had time to be home for supper every day. I had time to, you know, go around the reservoir and flipping over rocks looking for crawdads with my dad. I know he always wanted to look for crawdads. But yeah, it was a little strange. But quality time with family and just being at home and just existing, playing with Legos, right? Like little stuff that you're just home. And I very much, looking back on it, value that time. So I would definitely want for Lincoln, I want him to be able to strike a nice balance. What about you? How was your sort of extracurriculars?
Yeah, I was never like pressured to do like a bunch of things. I just like had a lot of interest, especially in like the arts. Like I was in dance lessons when I was younger. Did some little sport things here and there. In high school, I was fairly busy. I decided I'd cut it down a little bit. Instead of continuing with dance, I stopped dancing so I could do cross country. I had to track a little bit. I'm not very fast. I learned that. I didn't like running around circles.
You have endurance, though.
I have endurance. And I was in band and choir and took private lessons. So, yeah, I mean, choir didn't have a whole lot of extra commitments out of it. I was glad at the time. I was glad that I did what I did, and I still like have no regrets. It's helped make me to be a very disciplined individual. I'm pretty good at time management for the most part. So it's been very good for me. I think for Lincoln, as I'm looking how my activities, how that shaped me, how I like to help shape Lincoln is maybe help him think a little bit more about having some time to relax. I wish I would have built that in a little bit, maybe enjoyed it a little bit more family time and time with friends.
So I think our goal is we're not going to pressure Lincoln to do anything just because we liked it. So obviously we very much like, both of us very much like being entertainers, performers. We like being in plays. If Lincoln doesn't like that, that's going to just have to be okay. As much as I want him to be in the plays, because I think I would love watching him on the stage, and as much as I'm sure you would love him to get into music, or me into basketball or football, you know, we're going to try our best not to push him in any direction. I secretly kind of hope he's more like a nerd like me. I was always a closet nerd growing up. You know, I wanted to do, like, I was on the football team, yeah, Football America. But I was secretly a nerd, and I didn't embrace my full nerdity until my college days.
Sure.
But I kind of secretly hope he's a nerd and doesn't want to do sports and stuff. That way we can be at home and play video games together and making sweet videos. But I'm not going to push him to do any certain thing. I don't want to be like, I don't want him to feel like he ever has to like impress us, like right, like and like I want to do this because my parents want me to do it, and I didn't feel that way, and I know you didn't feel that way, but I just don't want that to be a thing for him. And so, speaking of when he's younger, like 3, 4, 5, 6, I want him to be in stuff like for the social aspect and the exercise, but not too much stuff. And I don't want to push him and say, you got to do one of these things. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. But I see a lot of like parents that are running their 5, 6, 7-year-old around every single night of the week.
Yeah.
And they're on the road for supper every night, and they're basically giving up their entire life. They go to work all day, and they come home and they rush their kids to this practice and that practice and this practice, and they don't have any time for themselves. I'm going to look at you right in the eyeballs right now. I'm not about that life.
Are you talking to Lincoln?
I'm talking to Lincoln. I'm talking to whoever's watching. Absolutely not.
Sure, especially at that young of an age, when we're the primary transportation.
Well, not even just that. Like, I am going into fatherhood with this philosophy that the greatest thing, my greatest accomplishment in life will be raising my children.
Yeah.
And if I have that mindset that's the biggest, like that is the thing that I'm doing with my life. And I know I'm going to do more than that, but if nothing else, I need to raise quality kids. And so that's what I intend to do. And so so because of that, I want to make sure that I am my best self.
Sure.
And I need to have my own time. And I know that sounds selfish, but
No,
I think having a good relationship with you is the most important. We want to be good role models for our children and say, this is what a good marriage looks like, this is what communication looks like. And you know what? I'm playing video games.
Sure.
And I'm going to be riding my bike and doing vlogs. And we have to have our own life too. I think a lot of times it could be easy for parents to get overboard and be like, give up too much of themselves or not enough of themselves. I want to obviously strike that balance, and I understand that obviously things will change.
Sure.
But I think it's important, even more important than having Lincoln go to soccer practice and softball practice and whatever. I think it's more important for him to be home for dinner every night.
Okay.
And it's very important that he is home playing board games with us, reading books, going to grandma's house, going to grandpa's house, just enjoying life and not relaxing, but just existing as a family unit and not rushing around all over the place when he's young. You know, like I said, it is that balance, but I guess we just kind of have to work that out.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely a thing of balance. And yeah, I mean, they say that like being your parents, your kids' first teachers, and that's really arguably one of the most important relationships your kids have.
Absolutely.
Just with you.
Yeah.
So really trying to focus on that, encourage him to do things that he likes to do, but also enforcing him the importance of family and us really like having that time to know what's going on in his life, because the world's a little scary.
It is, and I grew up with almost every single night having supper around the dinner table together. How was your day? Very traditional, and I was very lucky to have that, and that's what I want. And I imagine when I think of our future and our kids, I imagine us all gathering around the piano, singing songs and being fools, and just being home and existing and coming up with our own weird traditions. And it won't happen if we're racing around all over the place, all over God's green earth every single night. So
what if it's snowing in April and it's God's whitish earth?
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's the thing the snow has melted.
That's ridiculous. Anyways, it is 37 degrees in April, and it's like, come on, when is spring?
But we've decided, at least I had a good text conversation with my dad today. We've decided not to complain because in Wisconsin and all you
of course,
other states, you guys are from blizzards. And
this all got off the rails real quick.
We did.
That was
Sorry about that,
just like,
guys.
boom, boom. Okay, so to get back, we understand the value of extracurricular activities and things, but we're not willing to give up our own personal identity.
Indeed.
And our own joy. If I might be that crazy dad on the sidelines of the soccer field, rooting on Lincoln. But if Lincoln's terrible at soccer and he's out there picking at the grass and not playing, then you know what, Lincoln, maybe you should try something else because you kind of stink at soccer. I probably won't say that.
No, you won't say that.
I mean, I'll figure out a way to say it nicer because you don't want to. You don't want to be that parent that lets their kid think that they're good at singing when they're horrible at singing. And like if he's objectively bad at something, it's very important, I think, that he move on to something else. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. Hey, buddy, I know you really like soccer, but you are a really good singer, so let's focus more. I don't know. I'm just saying.
We'll figure it out as we go.
I don't know. We don't know what we're doing, but that's what you're here for. So thank you for watching and joining us on this journey that we call life. Anyways, all right. This is okay. Find your gift.
Share with the world.
And remember,
you are worth it.
hopefully dinner tomorrow. See you tomorrow.